What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Aggressively Average Anglers podcast / Kayak Adventure Series podcast. Because tonight we're going to hang out with some of our friends from KAS. Right now we got Jake Hepner on the show, aka Ilyakin. Jake, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm finally
Fantastic.
Rested up from our trip.
Rested up? Were you working hard?
Yeah, a little bit.
Putting on an event or something?
I was out there pumping all the water out of our basement of our Airbnb.
Oh, was it you that did that?
Luckily, it was automatic, but it was still like kind of weird to see the sump pump just like shooting all that water out.
Yeah, dude, that place. So you guys were there like a day before us. We'll get into the place because the place was insane. But you got in like the day before, and there was water going into the basement.
Yeah. When we first got there, it was like shooting water out. I was like, "Holy moly, this is wild!"
It was a pretty nutty situation. So as you guys can tell from the title, you know, flooded areas. All the rivers were very high. Some of them 4 feet or so high.
Illegally high.
Yeah. Exactly. It was pretty insane. They were ripping and roaring,
wild and crazy.
Well, a couple wild and crazy rivers. And then even the lakes were super blown out, dirty, pretty high. It was tough fishing unless you knew exactly how to handle those conditions. And I can tell you for free that Paul and I are not great at those conditions, but we're gonna have to learn. Dude, we got to figure that out next time.
So it's really funny you say that. So we do a little bit of news and noteworthy. So we do have in a couple weeks, May 12th will be the next members only. If you haven't joined us for members only, if you're a member of the illustrious alumni club, that is the members only.
Illustrious. I feel like we need jackets.
Oh yeah, we 100% need lapels.
Everybody needs a jacket.
Pins. Oh yeah,
maybe a bow tie
clip.
Yeah.
So if you're a member of the illustrious group, that is the Aggressively Average Anglers members group, you can join in on the fun. You can help us design t-shirts, get a behind the scenes look on everything. And we do that's where we do our schmivaways, which is code for give you stuff. That is where we do that. But it is a ton of fun. So join us there if you can. And then, I want to talk about this show. So we want to talk about Midwestivus. This is the second event of the year.
Second of the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And down
in the second Midwestivus.
Yes, true. Midwestivus 2. Down in Plymouth, Indiana, a place I've never been. Specifically, I've been in Indiana, never Plymouth, Indiana. But we did have a lot of fun there, and we'll kind of go through that. But my Q of the D actually relates directly to the conditions. So those were, if I was going to pick conditions, those would be the worst ones. That would be.
I agree.
Like, for the way I fish, that is a guaranteed no bite. I've done it so many times that I know it sucks, right? Yep. It's also like it doesn't happen very often where it's that cold, that rainy, the rivers are that blown out and that high, kind of all at one time at this point in the year. Like this is when it will happen, but it doesn't happen often throughout the year. It's not like the August bite where it's bluebird skies, it's been hot for 4 days, the water's low. Like that happens 4 or 5, 6, 7 times in the summer. You're going to run into that. You got to figure that out. This is a little more rare. Yeah, and I can't figure that one out. So I guess my question is, what are your ideal tournament conditions? Like those are the worst. But if you're going to draw it up, like for me, like playing rugby, the best day, 50 degrees, slightly cloudy, not too sunny, a little bit muggy, and no wind. That would be like the most, if I could pick a day to play rugby, that is the perfect day for the way I play and what I like. That's what I want. If I was going fishing, what are your perfect conditions? What are you drawing up?
I'll let Jake go first. Jake, what would you say?
Overcast for sure.
Yes.
If it was the inverse of what we were fishing, it would have been great. And what I mean by that is like if it was the same weather, but we were catching the rise instead of it's been like this conditions, I think it would have been a lot better. I think having to fish stable high water is extremely difficult.
Meaning when it's been high for a week or
and I mean I think it's been high for like a month there.
It was multiple weeks.
The Midwest in general, by the way, is kind of pretty similar. We've gotten a lot of rain, a lot of runoff too from snow, so we had water already, and we haven't gotten like a week of warm weather. It's been like 1 day of muggy weather, not actually warm.
Here and there.
Yeah, it's not a great situation, and I think I say the worst. What made it the worst is that these fish are actually about to transition into being like bedded down. So you also had fish that are kind of shut down because they've already filled the gullet. Now it's soaking wet, brown cloud everywhere, and it's just like it's not great, right? Like at least for the way I fish, it's pretty challenging. So,
hi, Drew.
What's up, Drew?
What's up, guys? Dude? We're just talking about
the shower, dude. Fresh out of the shower.
Oh, you got cleaned up just for this show? That was silly of you.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome. We're just talking about the conditions of Midwestivus a little bit, and then we're doing a Q of the D, which is what would be your like preferred ideal tournament condition. So Jake already went. I'd be curious what Drew's are. So what would you say, man?
Yeah, dude, mine is actually kind of what we had. It's sort of like, I don't want people to not enter tournaments, but I want people to be like a little bit like, I don't know, like a little scared. I don't know if I can catch fish in this or that, because I know I can catch fish and they do bite. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And you guys, for example, are a good example. You didn't have any practice, but if you had practice time when you were there, you would have, and you actually just, again, KS is different. You could choose a lake, but I'm talking about the rivers that were high. And, I know it's a catchy thumbnail, whatever, like high flooded. I mean, they were definitely out of the banks in some of them, but they were safe. They were fine. They weren't like dangerous flooded. And a lot of them weren't out of the banks like the Tippy was. They were all safe and fine, smaller, medium. But anyway, I like that because then people just don't either practice it. They don't think they can. And when you do, it's just like wintertime. When you do find them, they do stack up, and they do chew like really good in that stuff, because usually it's staying when it's high. So you can use the baits that I love to use, like chatterbait, spinner bait, swim bait, just loud, ugly, just covered in water kind of stuff. So yeah, those are I pray for flood and rain. Now it can backfire. On 10 killer last year, at the Bassmaster event last year, it was great because everyone knew I won up the river, the championship. So then we went back the next year for regular season, and I'm praying for rain and I'm excited about it. And it just flooded so much to where I couldn't even figure them out. I only had 1 day of practice, but I couldn't even find them until the final hour of the tournament, which I had to turn around and go all the way back because I was like literally an hour motor even away from my ramp. And I still was late and lost inches. I was late, but I did find them eventually. But anyway, that's my favorite conditions.
I gotcha. So yeah, I mean, for me, like somebody said it in chat, actually, I really love a warm, rainy, slightly windy, overcast day. So like I want 60 to 70 degrees. I like a bit of rain because I feel like it turns the bite on. And like some of my best days with like volume, like just quantity of fish and just ripping lips all day long, have been those types of conditions. So
kind of like Friday. You guys
kind of
that on Friday. Maybe it got a little cooler than you wanted. At the beginning, it was warmer. Then it really did cool down on you guys, but kind of like Friday.
It dropped. Yeah. If we hadn't hit the section of the river, we were low on the Tippy. I feel like a lot of guys had success. They went way upstream and they were on like the Elkhart, the Tippy, and they were in, just better spots in general than we were in. Fish flooded waters or don't. Well, we did. I was in the woods, bro. I caught a fish like 400 yards into the woods. I was
Kayak
so
or die,
far
dude.
back.
Flood or die. Get your flood or die hat on. Jake had the reel today on Instagram saying he caught a fish off a tree 5 years ago. Now you throw it every tree flooded in the woods. That's what you guys are doing.
I did the same thing, bro, and like that's where I got 2 fish in the woods. But yeah, they were dinky. So like we just weren't weeding through the size. But anyways, yeah, I feel like that rainy, I wasn't scared of those conditions, nor was I afraid of the river at all. Like we drifted 7-8 miles fall. We did a float and like on the short day. So I mean, it was a 4-hour, 7-8 mile float. We were just cruising. We were doing 7.5 miles an hour.
I think it was so high
in the stream
that it was like calm. It's like when it gets up into the trees like that, it almost like gets calm.
It's easy.
Yeah, if it was tighter water, it would have been nasty.
Yeah, channel.
We wouldn't have been. Yeah. And that's why like the Yellow River was like that. Yellow River was super tight, and the current flow there was insane.
Fun fact:
I think
like 4 fish were caught on that river from what I
on the Yellow.
I looked because we have so Tourney X has that like feature, right, where you can see where everybody's at, and
which is cool.
I think that's the only water body that didn't show up.
It's a tough, like you can find spots obviously, but there's a lot of spots that just really are not worth fishing. Like they're basically a drainage ditch in some of those areas. And so when it was blown out, it would be like, well, I don't know if I could get out of here. Cause if you're trying to go through a culvert or something, you're not going to make it. So I think some of those areas people were like, well, it's maybe just not even worth it.
Yeah, I went to the the northeast boundary, which was the upstream boundary waters of that. And dude, it was like this wide. Yeah. Like my kayak would have fit into it. And then I know in spots it like opens up and then it closes up. It's almost like a farm canal for all the farmland they have around there. There's definitely 100,000% there's fish in there.
I'm writing the recap article now. I'm almost done with it. I'll probably be done tonight. It'll be up tomorrow. All kinds of incredible photos. You guys did an amazing job. They sent in so many videos and photos. It's taken us so long to like compile it all. You guys were there. Nice. You guys got some awesome shots. Jake had awesome shots. I had some killer drone shots of lots of you guys. It's just taken a long time. But I will say this, the introduction to the recap article, I figured this out at the event. This is interesting, like little thing to learn here. The Yellow River goes into the Kankakee, which goes eventually into like over where Jake lives, way over there. So it goes into the Mississippi, way up by St. Louis, right? Okay. Then the St. Joseph's River goes in the Great Lakes. So you can imagine how separate those drainages are, how the health of all the small rivers and creeks, a lot of times it is tied to what the health of the bigger river downstream is. Because if something ever happens to the small creeks, they get a drought year, they get some sewage or some nasty chemical spill and the fish are gone. They have to replenish from that main river system, right? So that one goes in there. The Tippecanoe goes into the Ohio River to the south and eventually gets in the Mississippi way down, like Paducah, Kentucky, like way down there. Mm-hmm. So there are three. It's all funny because they all originate or at least kind of barely touch. St. Joseph's maybe watershed isn't quite in Marshall County, but almost. But they all are right there, but they all go in different directions. And I'll tell you what I think the theory is. What Jake was saying, no one was on that river. We don't like talk about this stuff too much or want to reveal too much about anglers and where they were. We're just not in that business. But I will say that to this point, it's because that river, the anglers were smart and they did the research beforehand. Maybe some people pre-fished it to figure it out, but they just figured out if you do all your YouTube and Google and all the research you can do online, because I did some to try to see where I would go and just kind of like guess what was going to happen. Yeah. I couldn't find any big fish ever caught on the internet in the like big ones. It would matter to win, like some 17s, sure.
Well, 17, the guy who came to our Airbnb that night was talking about it, and I'm pretty sure he said that he's caught some 19s and some like borderline.
Oh, I'm sure they're in there. But they just
19 red herring.
They weren't on the internet.
Throw you off.
Not on the internet. Yeah.
Well, there's always got to be a big fish in the pond, right? Like somebody's got to be the alpha fish.
No, they're there. I'm just saying, like, not on the internet, so that there's not a lot of them. It's super rare. He lives there. He's fished it. Yeah. Not volume enough to like. So the anglers did a good job, is what I'm saying, doing their online research, which is kind of like becoming a big part of the KS puzzle. You got to figure it out beforehand, otherwise you're going to waste a day trying it. And again, could you have won the micro bag on there? Probably. Could you have like caught some fish? Yeah,
absolutely not. Did you guys remember what Matt got in the micro bag? Almost an immaculate bag. There's no way, dude.
Yeah, maybe not.
27,
26. Perfect. He was so close.
That's almost an immaculate micro bag. Unreal. That was like the craziest part of the whole thing for me.
Just to clarify for everybody, there is a prize for what's called the micro bag, and that is the best 5 smallest fish that you can catch between 5 inches and 9.75 inches. We're talking dinky little baby guys, but it can't be too small. You can't just catch fry with the net, and it can't be too big because 10 inches is the qualifying minimal limit for any fish that you measure for the standard tournament, right? So Matt, this guy caught, was it 27? The official?
It was Chase. It was Chase.
Chase. Sorry. So Chase.
Chase
yeah. So it was 26 official, we're saying?
Well,
I'll tell you, I got
Attorney X pulled up. Let's go.
It was nuts. I remember. So Jeff,
that's like near perfect.
We were sitting.
I'm gonna show a video.
Like front row.
It's 27 on the dot. A 5, a 5.25, a 5.25, a 5.75, and a 5.75.
Bro, that's insane because like a perfect bag is 25 inches, right? Perfect micro bag would be 25.
Jeff and I lost it.
He got so cool. We were most pumped for this. There were way bigger fish caught, and we were like, micro bag, let's go.
That guy's looking at him hard too. Like, what's this dude doing?
Dude, the stare down is real.
The stare down is real with us. Whoa! Right,
he just yoinks.
There we go. All right, guys. Exactly 5 inches.
Bye, buddy.
5 inches.
What a legend.
which is
That
a
is
perfectly
awesome.
average length for any bass. Okay,
very.
okay.
Everyone would be happy to catch a 5-inch.
Perfectly acceptable, right? It's
Oh.
great length, whatever. Dude, that is insane.
The
We have
hilarious
another one
part
he submitted.
is that he's using just a full-size bait caster. It's just
That's
What,
what
I was
yeah.
trying to see if he was using BFS or not, but that's
I
could've
dude,
swore he
thought
had
he was
another one
using
in here.
human hair. It was very yeah.
size
Jeff
0
and I-
rooster tail. He said, I think. Yeah,
Jeff and I both lost it. We loved it, and I
was the best
was
part of the whole
like,
show.
that was the best part of the whole. I mean, it was cool to see people have success in that area and
Don't care.
find some
Micro
cool
bag.
spots. But dude, seeing the almost immaculate micro bag was so impressive.
Here's
insane.
here's a guy getting frustrated that he just lost a teeny fish.
well, maybe don't manhandle it.
That was my micro limit.
You have
Now,
to.
now
good
he's
fish.
he's running the yak rods. That's a super soft rod.
That's a
And
noodle.
yeah, it is a noodle. And he's got the he looks like he's got the BFS reel on there.
Panther
that the
Martin
Kestrel?
size 0 is what he used. It looked like a Kestrel.
Dude, there's there's an art to that, guys. It's not. I'll
No,
show another
it's
video.
not.
There's an art to. You gotta like bring them straight in. The more you let them sit there and wiggle, their thinnest, their like skin is so thin, the
Yeah.
hook will just come right out. If you don't just bring them right in, and I think having a softer rod
You wanna
probably helps
catch.
a little bit on that. If it's too stiff,
You gotta
can't throw your little
try.
baits.
No, I agree. I totally
here's
agree.
the methodology. Here's the
I'll just let them
methodology. Set the hook straight towards you, catch fish. That's how you do
Yeah.
it. You just got to catch his fish.
You guys want to see some unhooked clips?
Yeah.
Yes, we want to see
Here's
some
probably the one
sadness.
that could be one of the best. We have to make a decision.
So
This
so
could
this
be-
is unhooked,
Josiah.
meaning they lost a fish, right? And there's
Right.
a prize for this too.
Josiah.
So
This
so
could
this
be
young
been the
man,
winning fish. This may have called enough for him to actually win. This thing's so big.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
dude,
It's a giant bass.
A mag draft.
Stay on.
on the mag draft.
I ran the swag for
Oh my
like a
God.
full
I
day.
threw big swim baits
On the
too, but
mag
we weren't on
draft.
a lake when we did it, or when I did it.
No! No! No!
Was he gonna grab it?
He's looking
No.
for it, like it's still there, like it's hanging
No.
out.
What would you do?
No!
I would do the same thing. I would throw
He's
my
right
rod.
there,
I would.
dude.
I'm gonna
I would
shoulder
fall
it,
in.
just jump out.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
did that at Possum Kingdom. I lost the big fish and
This,
fell in.
That's
this
what I would do.
that,
No!
that position right there.
That's
that-
what I would
That's surrender Cobra.
No, dude, I've done that so many times.
God dang. You know,
There's
that is
no way.
heartbreaking because
There's
he's
no
on the
way I'm
mag
letting
draft.
that
It was on the
fish-
treble then, right?
I'm not letting that fish do.
It must
the
have had
back
one
and forth
hook on the
game.
treble.
That
How
was
old is-
two back
how
and
old is-
forths. He's like 19.
Is he 19?
This one
So-
here
Oh,
is-
got it. Dang.
Is great too. But this is user error a little bit on the netting. The
His
net didn't
net,
fold
like,
out.
folds in.
The net didn't flip out, and it jumped right over.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Who said no?
His for his partner. Listen,
Oh, you gotta be kidding
The
me.
net didn't flip out.
I wouldn't be able to submit that clip without edit because it would have been 19 cuss words. There wouldn't have been a single non-swear word in that whole thing.
And every time you do that, don't you just think like, why didn't I just pull towards the boat? Like if I had just gone, he might have flipped into the boat. Best chance. But
yeah,
dang, that's why I
possibly.
also
That's why I don't use a net. Yeah.
I don't. Well, I'll use a net, but I don't like flip out nets, man. Like I
have a hard time with those.
I have the yak attack, and it's like I
No.
kind of,
Yeah.
but not really. Like I like
I'm not a fan
fixed
of it.
position net.
It feels
And
like
I'll-
you
Trouble
become like,
hooks, maybe. Trouble hooks,
Inspector
maybe I'll
Gadget.
bring out a net.
it's like.
But do you
part
remember
of it.
hearing the no when someone goes no? Remember that?
Yeah.
That is his partner, this guy up there ahead of him. This is him catching
I
a fish.
got
though. It's his partner. This is actually a cool clip. He's stuck in the
He
tree.
snagged on a tree.
His
This would be
partner
me
caught
and Paul all day. Oh heck yeah!
You should measure that,
And
buddy.
the frog togs, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
17. 17.
But
No
it
one
worked
will
out
ever
great. They got
know.
a good clip.
No one will ever know. Nice.
But that was like river fishing in a nutshell, dude. Like our partner just hung up. It's
Yep.
crazy. It's flooded. The
So
net's not
that-
coming out.
That has to have been way upstream on the tippy, or it was on the Elkhart, is my
I
assumption.
think it was on the tippy.
That's definitely
Oh.
the tippy. 'cause
That's a
it's clear.
completely different tippy than what Paul and I fished. I
I
can tell you
believe-
that much for free.
I
In
believe
terms
that's
of what?
the stretch.
Here it
that,
is. It looks.
Our
This might be the
stretch-
Elkhart. This might be the Elkhart. I mean, look.
No,
Yeah.
that's the
Could be,
tippy
who knows?
canoe.
I mean, it's flooded
Tippy,
woods,
you were
but
on.
like our area of the Tippy, the flowage was way higher, and it was all chocolate milk. This is like clear almost.
Let's go.
No
Oh,
fish
really?
no fish were
Let's
biting
go.
like that. That's for sure.
No, and this did not.
And that's out now. Now he's got it out. He's ready.
He
Flipped
probably
out.
just left it locked out. I would
Yeah.
assume.
Oh, it's a good one, dude.
Nice.
I would
What
never
kayak
use that
is
net
he?
again.
He's filling up that entire freaking kayak. Oh my god.
I think he needs to call Beyond Braid and be like, "Yo, your net didn't absorb.
You
I'm
owe
stewing.
me.
You owe me, bro."
That's a good one though, man.
That is a good.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's sweet.
That was a good clip.
Oh yeah, that's sweet. Oh, cool.
Is
You
that
got
a-
on river.
Is that a Vibe Sea Ghost?
Yeah,
It might
it
be.
looks like
Yeah.
it. It's
The
paddle
Vibe
one.
Seaghost is longer than that though. That's
Look at
gotta
that.
be the
Good edit.
10-foot
He's
Well, they have
putting
some
them all
cool
together.
one now.
Well, we got our first fish officially on the board, and it's a nice one. 17-inch small jaw.
Pretty sure
Nice.
Let
they
him
were in
go.
the team division only. I can find out. Those guys were
which
awesome,
is
though.
something we talked about at the tournament, right? Like if you guys ever do a kayak adventure series, you should just do the individual and team. Team's a blast. You get to pick a partner. You get to combine your two best, or like your best
Yeah.
five, their best five, and then it's total length for that over the course of 2 days. You have 2 days to put together a bag of 5 fish, which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
But then in the individual, a lot of the guys that do good in the team also do good in individual, and they can double up on prizes, which is
Yeah.
part of the benefit of doing this. Here was the crazy thing. There was only
Yeah.
one person who caught more than 80 inches. Correct?
What are you talking about? Where? 80.
Right at the top. More than, well, in the 90s. Sorry,
talking-
there were two people
Oh, in the 90s. Yeah, I was about to say, I was
Yeah.
like, there's people in the
290s.
Yeah.
Angler
There were
standings. What is
two-
the team division here? Do you want team or you want individual?
Individual is fine, but like I was pretty sure there was only a couple people
Well,
that hit over 90.
Yeah, there
right?
were, but shout out real quick before we leave this page. I do want to shout them
Yep.
out because it was Matt Wesley who sent in that clip and Travis Bauer was his partner. But look at this. Shout out to the team name. Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
There we go.
Clever.
Very, very good, guys. Very
Clever.
good. Yeah.
There was a team called This Lake Sucks, and I was like, that's a great name.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So there was basically 2 in the 90s,
Mhm.
and then there was a lot in the 80s, all the way into the 80s. It just kept going.
But
down
the
to
sticking point was the 70s, man. Like the majority of the pack
Yeah.
was between 70 and 80 inches from the looks of it. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is like it was tough fishing. And anybody who put together a bag, like they did the work, and that's like a big thing. If you guys, you don't have to. Paul and I never practice. We go to this thing. Like I was still in the 70s. Like you can still catch. You can figure it out. But it is beneficial. Do your research ahead of time if you can't make it there, and if you can, at least get like an extra day in. Make it a trip, right? Like get down there on that Thursday. Lines out is at 4:00 on the Thursday before tournament day. So you have like if you can just plan that Thursday as a pre-fish day, the game is eliminate as much unproductive water as you possibly can. Just be like, I'm not fishing there. I'm not fishing there. I'm not fishing there. And then you don't waste your time on tournament day. So that is something that it takes time to like pick up on, but if you can afford that time, do it. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody
The,
should have dredged their way up the creek and fished the Airbnb pond. The winning fish were in there.
Oh, for sure.
The
check
winning
this
fish.
out.
If you had a,
I
if you
got
had a,
like a
Cool clip.
I got like a 15 and a half, maybe a
if you had
16.
a
in
snack,
there.
if you had a snack craw, yeah, you could get it done.
Dude, the snack craw, Great Lakes Finesse snack craw was crushing. And that thing, it was insane.
This is a great one. On bed, fishing on bed, you can see the fish. Look how close he is to the fish and the bed. And it's a big fish.
Yeah. Right on top, literally on top of him.
This fish is locked onto this bed.
And yeah, I know this feeling. You're just like, nope, I'm not leaving. I'm getting this fish.
Who is this?
I see him moving on it.
Hang on. There we go. Let's try to get that. There he goes.
Oh, got him.
This is Scott of somebody, I believe. I'll pull his name up in a second. Thought it was
Just
Scott.
on the old stick bait.
Great clip.
They don't eat those.
Heavy breathing, all that.
Yeah, he's losing it.
He's got
Man,
like a
that's
little
actually
5-inch worm on there.
That's
That
actually
was
a
a
pretty
good
big
fish.
one.
It
That
was.
a good fish.
Yeah, it was.
That was
I don't know. You can go look, but it was.
Well, hold
I'll
on.
tell
I
you
got-
his-
you said it was
his name.
Scott Case?
It was Scott Case. Yeah, Scott Case had a couple good ones he sent in. So
That was a 17.75, it appears.
you think so? Okay.
Here's
That was his
Josiah
biggest fish.
again.
That
See,
was the
this is-
largemouth that snuck in the script there.
Oh, I thought he was bigger than that.
Oh, that's not the one I was trying to show. That was a good fish, but it's not. He has a 20 and 3/4 that he has on video here. That's a good one. That's like one of his 18s.
What place did Josiah take?
Second,
dude. This kid's
Second.
Well, they took first in the U20, right?
Yep.
Yes, first there.
Yep. But the cool thing about Josiah's story is that this is the first bag he put together. His first like full complete.
Yeah, it was a real good bag. I want to say where.
He said in the last like 4 KSs he's done, he's only had 4 fish.
So he actually sent a video of what he had to do to fish the lake. I don't know if Drew has that. I have it.
What's that to do?
What Josiah had to do to fish the lake.
What did he have to do?
What are we talking about?
Hold on. I'll show you guys. Give me a second.
Hold on.
Right here.
This is a family.
Here we go, guys.
I'm impatient.
Oh, here it is.
Lake gets choked up. There's a part of his lake that gets. I mean, you can kind of paddle through it if you want to push paddles. There's just a little channel, but he just chose to walk through it instead.
We're on an adventure, y'all.
We're on an adventure.
Wait, did he take his?
We got a little bit ways to go.
It was not warm. So
let's get everything situated.
Dang,
there's no way I'm taking my pants off.
And he found
there's a lot of ways to
Google Earth, a little bit of research, like just figured this out.
Yep.
Because I mean that's part of the game, right? Like, yeah, I think I remember talking to him at the Airbnb. I think he mentioned like he just searched the area, found where people were catching big fish, and this is a real tough spot to get to. So that's like the epitome of KAS, though. That is really cool.
Yeah.
He even lost his pants on the way in.
I was trying to see
if
I can
not on the way out.
Another good one. Just can't find it. I know he has another good one here somewhere that was like a 20 1/4, but I don't know.
Dang. Well, there were some big fish caught. I gotta say, I don't know if either of you guys have the picture that you could queue up, but my favorite was that fish with the Barbie hand on it on the board. That was sheer perfection.
Yeah, that was. No, like that. Kind of like as we watch Scribner here catch something that turns out to be not a bass, but it's big. But Josiah's thing, it's like some people can like use live scope, right? And they can see where the fish are or whatever. And that's what he was using right here, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Some people like I'm the style. I like to find places that are just out of the way. They're hard to get to, kind of like what Josiah did. Problem is, you don't always catch them with live scope, and you don't always catch them when you find these little sneaky honey holes.
Yeah.
They like in Caddo for Bassmaster. I went to one of those places, and I'd been there before, and it was okay. But this time I went, I could not catch a single bass. So sometimes they suck, even if they're hard to get to. But certainly from him on this time, he found a spot that was pretty good.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Dang.
Awesome.
That thing is huge.
I mean, not good for him for tournament purposes.
That was a wiper.
Awesome catch.
There you go.
There's the picture.
Was that a wiper he caught?
Yeah.
That looked like that was a hybrid.
Honestly, second best thing that happened at the tournament. That's a monster.
That was a monster catch. This is awesome. Also, are those Beanie Babies? What are we doing here? We had on deck. Naturally, we just brought the Barbie hand and a couple of stuffies.
I was gonna say he's got some loveys in there. He's got a little shark.
All right, cool, man. But the hand was hilarious. 16.5 looks like a 25. There you go. Great job. So yeah, there's some great clips of catches. You can see people were getting on them. There was a couple people who said they caught like, I don't know, near 40 fish or something. Like they were just culling like crazy. To which Paul and I just stared at each other. We were like, how? Where?
Couldn't be me.
I caught, I think, 10 fish in the tournament and 400 on the lake by the house. So insane amount of fish on the Airbnb pond, which I think we take a brief hiatus here. We got to talk about the Airbnb, you guys. I'm very sad. If either of you guys have any pictures or footage from that, or if anybody does that was at the Airbnb,
on my phone.
I need, if you can send those to me, I need that for the video that we're gonna put together. Because here's the crazy thing, you guys. I've filmed 2 days, Airbnb stuff, vlog stuff, Paul building his kayak the day of the tournament, and the river stuff. I was fishing in the woods, all this cool stuff. And then I got home and I went to take that card out of my camera and it got stuck. And I was just like doing what I normally do, trying to like freaking micro SD cards. First of all, don't get me started. Cameras, why does it have to be so hard to get micro SD cards out of
and then they shoot into the water?
Yeah, they just try to kill themselves at all times, right?
And
so
they just are like, error, sorry.
Yeah, and then they just break.
So bad.
Lose on.
I go to pull this card out, you guys, and you know how it has that little edge? I was trying to use my thumbnail just to push that edge out.
Yeah.
I snapped that sucker in half. Broke
Jeff
it in half.
goes to the gym once.
Mega thumb, buddy. So just smash this SD card. I'm like, okay, it has to work somehow. Maybe I can like use a decryptor file. I have like I don't know. I have some special file system I've used in the past in case I accidentally delete stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I could solve this. No, I wasted 2 hours trying to get that footage, long gone. So unfortunately, I have no footage from my camera, but we do have stuff from Paul's. And then the Airbnb was my saddest part. I was like, missed the fishing. We didn't do that good. Missed my frog catches. That makes me sad. But the Airbnb footage, real sad. Because this was this crazy like 70s layout. There's the pond we fished like the whole time.
Jay catching we're out the pond.
This thing was freaking stocked. There were hundreds of bass on this lake. And at one point they were all in this tiny back corner. And we could do whatever we want. You could throw anything in this back corner where there was drainage coming in from the creek and just crush on it.
So that drainage was insane. And I talked about this in the video I did. So this isn't even a pond. It's a creek that's a watershed, so it's tannic because it flows off those rivers. And so the whole pond is tannic, but it has so many species in there. I caught both species of crappie, a hybrid sunfish, a bluegill, a bass, a smallmouth in the creek, and what was the other thing I caught? Oh, a bullhead catfish. So like,
when? That's awesome. Super jealous. Oh,
I caught on the rooster tail. But
of course.
It was crazy because it was like it's like this system that like constantly is just getting an influx of fresh water. So like it's not very deep right there. Yeah. The only deep part is the canal as it flows out. So like you could pretty much walk to that island if you wanted to. Like it was probably only up to like your chest at the most.
Fair. That's what Lake St. Clair is. Lake St. Clair is a floodplain.
Really?
Yeah, because you get water coming in from the north in Canada, from the Thames River, and then goes out through the Detroit River.
There it is.
Yeah,
I need this footage. I want this in our video.
St. Clair is, it only gets to. I mean, there are like holes and stuff, but really, it's like 18, 20 feet deep. Is about as deep as it gets, and most of it's like 11 to 16, and it's just flat and very featureless. Like there's rock piles and stuff, but there's not, if you're not like by the channel, there's not a lot happening.
So this house had an African safari room. And then can you get
there's a howler monkey skull?
Yeah, I just noticed that.
It was freaking weird.
The monkey skulls were nuts, but get to the leopard on the wall.
I don't think I could sleep in that room. I'm not sleeping in that room.
There's a leopard.
Not waking up to that.
Why not?
Right. We were joking about
ibex hanging right above your head.
Joking about sleeping on that couch right underneath all of those heads. But yeah, this leopard in a tree with his fresh kill, that was insane. This was just one room, and this place had there was 10 living rooms in this house. It just kept going and going. It was insane.
It was cool.
It was a cool place.
Brings up a topic of what I was mentioning, and you guys in the chat can chime in. All the KS anglers. I really am considering doing something where KS gets a certain number of just giant Airbnbs and then lets you guys fill them. And I don't know, it just takes one thing off your shoulders, right? Like that you have to worry about. And then you get to meet a bunch of people, have a bunch of fun like we did, right? I mean, that's
and if we film them, then we can promote that Airbnb, right? Like there's marketing dollars for them. If you want to go on an African safari, but mostly stay for that pond that's in the back. But yeah, that place was heckin' cool. And I would love to stay at a place like that every KS. Those are cool. And yeah, if you can get more people, just bunk up, you get 8-10 people into one of those houses. And yeah, especially if they're on a little lake, that's always cool. You can get some footage of that too. So, but yeah, very interesting place. We've got a lot of fish at the house. None of those were really in play unless you came up from the creek somehow and then went through the drainage pipe.
I don't know that it's possible. I looked. I was like, I wonder if someone could make it happen.
It looked like there was this much water in it. You would just watch. It's like there's just a little bit of Animal
House Part 2. It's so true, man. It really does get crazy in these Airbnbs. And then there's one guy saying, He enjoyed his solo Airbnb, but he would have had a great time with a bunch of other guys and gals. That's the point, man. Like COVID shut down a lot of this like in-person events, and we went everything, even our like like check-ins at tournaments. We realized we could do them virtually. We don't need to. It's like we're kind of like going back to the old ways, changing all that stuff with KS, and this could be a big part of it. To me, that like again, you're not only a couple people are going to win enough money to where it really matters. So it's like you're just coming for the experience anyway, to go fish somewhere new and different and meet a lot of like-minded people. I think it's a cool idea, and we just take on a few ourselves and on the KS credit card, and then you guys just pay us back and don't have to worry about it. Maybe throw in a few other perks and then meet a bunch of people. It'd be cool. So chime in if you guys like that idea or not. I think it'd be cool.
But I mean, you just mentioned like, hey, only a couple of people get cash, but you gotta like Drew, don't dog your own tournament series here. There's also tons of other prizes that people can get all deep in the pack. You can still get tons of prizes. We gave out the average angler award, which we didn't even qualify for. We were below average anglers on this trip, but
aggressively,
aggressively below average. I was only a few behind. I was like 3 spots behind. But so if you got dead middle of the pack, which was 36 out of 72 anglers on this one, then you got the average angler award. But yeah, there's that. There's the micro bag. That's fair game for anyone.
Oh yeah.
Get a good partner. You got a good shot on teams. There weren't like a crazy amount of teams registered either. There was maybe like 20 or so. So it's like
24.
Yeah, so like that's a pretty good shot compared to 1 out of 72.
Yeah,
right?
we pay out 20% in cash, and I guess what I meant is actually making a profit, because by the time you take gas and lodging and entry fee, profit. There's only a few, but in terms of like a lot of people coming out of there with like money that covered their trip to just have a good time and go fishing, dude. A lot of people at KS, like 25% get paid out and 20% in cash, and the other 5% is those Guardian Angel light kits, which we all need. I'll need one of those anyway. Plus the unhooked bonus from D-Hookers could be $500. The GoPro Angler's Cut, which we got some great clips submitted for that, or you could win another $1,000, 500 in cash. There's all kinds of bonuses. You're right, for sure. But the real money is definitely those first top like 5, probably, that actually make a profit if you really start tracking everything.
I think the real profit is the friends you made along the way.
It's right.
There it is.
Clip that. That's what it is.
And the ones you left behind, right, Paul?
It's the truth.
It's not about the ones that made it.
It's not about the ones who didn't make it. They didn't make it, they're dead to me. Whatever. No, it's the community, the camaraderie. It's huge. We all get to hang out. The award ceremony, opening ceremonies, award ceremonies, the Bass U brunch.
Breakfast? The Bass U brunch?
Dude.
Breakfast pizza?
If you guys are
I'll show you.
You're in Plymouth, Indiana,
their Lord and Savior. People are thinking their families. People are thinking all these people. I'm like, no one's thinking the breakfast pizza. What is wrong with you?
So Yellow River Tap in Marshall County. That was in downtown Plymouth, no? Right? That's where we were.
Thank you.
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
downtown,
right there in the heart of it all.
It's right there on the Yellow River. They got an on the water deck area, boardwalk, all that stuff. It's a really cool place. Great restaurant. They also have that beer on tap system where you get a card and you just like scan whatever beer you want and you just pour it yourself. That's pretty nifty. And they had Jones Soda at the fountain. Jones Soda on tap was killer.
I will show you guys this here.
I gotta tell that story too. Dude. All right. Does Drew know this? Did I tell you guys, Drew and Jake?
Here's some of the photos. Yeah,
so before you do the photo, so we're driving home, right? Paul and I leave at the same time. Paul's a speed demon, so he's flying ahead of me. He's about 2.5 miles ahead of me.
Oh, I know where this is going.
We're going down the construction zone. Paul has the trailer with his kayak on the trailer. He left all his stuff in it, which is normally fine. But I'm driving, and I just happen to look at the side of the road at one point in time on the shoulder, and I go, "Yo, that looks like an Evolution Fishing big bait bag." I'm like, that's not good for somebody. So I pull over naturally, and I'm like, I'll get this. I go back, I get it, and it is a big bait XL bag. It is Paul's big bait XL bag. I open it up. All the bait's perfectly fine. A little bit of road rash, but that sucker fell off his kayak or off the trailer and off his kayak back there at like 85 miles an hour. And
82
miles an hour. Perfectly fine. I posted pictures. I posted video of it. That's heavy duty. And you're welcome, Paul. That was probably $600 in swim baits.
I'm more impressed that you didn't blow your bearings.
There were only like 2 glide baits in there, and like 7 or 8 swim baits, and like 100 chatter baits, and 75 spinner baits.
4 swag LTs.
2 packs of munchies.
There we go.
There were 2 packs
There
of
we
munchies
go.
in there, sandwiched in. But these breakfast pizzas, you guys, if I don't tell you anything else, I can tell you this. These breakfast pizzas
were good.
They beat the pants out of like any other pizza I've had.
That's so true. That was such a
Paul?
great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They were good.
I don't know what's happening.
Don't look
here.
at the fish. Go back to the pizza. I'm kidding.
I will. I got somehow out of the.
Was
Here
that big bass right there? That was the 22.
Yeah,
that was a big bass. These are all the photos. I'll just keep them in this mode. Yeah, this was from that breakfast. So that was a cool thing. Like we're talking about the fellowship and all that. Like this is what anyone who doesn't come to KS, they're missing out on this kind of cool stuff. Because Dr. Mudbug had an incredible presentation on crawfish. And these guys learned a lot. So that was pretty cool.
He actually
did
dropped
you know?
He dropped some truth bombs.
He did, but did you guys know that there's a freshwater crawfish that gets up to 4 pounds? It's a freshwater lobster.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. He told me.
Tasmanian lobster. Freaking wild.
Yeah, it was insane.
What do you guys? What was the? I can tell you my biggest takeaway from that whole thing was the idea that, like, I always thought color was so important, or like action or profile, but like a lot of it is probably related to texture.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the Ned rig makes perfect sense after listening to him.
Defensive position, which I already like knew about that, but it was great to learn more about it. So it's like when you have a craw with the claws up here, you're like in defensive position. If the bite's tough, go into that TRD, no claws,
no
right?
defense.
Or if you guys are like me and you've ever fished the Megabass sleeper craw, once the claws get ripped off, I was getting bit more than any other time. Just a little antennae coming off. Or if you have a downsized little tiny craw like that, or the tube craw, sorry. So that's from Great Lakes Finesse. It's the juvie craw. That thing fire. And then if you have to downsize, you go to the micro size, that thing crushes. But the claws are super tight. So it's like not as scary defensive position for bass to get after. So that was cool to hear. Also, we learned about them molting, and then they're no longer having the hard exterior shell. They're like super soft, so that can make a big difference.
The footage he had was insane.
Yeah,
of the underwater footage. I never realized
that wasn't his though.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, what I mean is like I never expect crayfish to win, right? You always think like, oh, they're always just getting eaten, but no, they win all the time. Apparently,
that's true.
Well, I think he kind of put together like the that was like the best of the best.
Yeah.
Like,
the best fighting crayfish.
It was like, well, this is the majority. I think it's more like we found 6 clips.
Crustacean
all we had.
So, hey, look at that
go.
dweeb. There's my purple shoaly hanging out.
Oh, yeah, I got some cool drone footage. Some of these places.
There were some cool spots, and that's a good highlight for Kayak Adventure Series. Is like, look at that dweeb. It is like there are tournaments where they all fish on one lake, right? And like that's fine, you can figure it out eventually. But what's really cool about tournaments like this is that you can go to anything in play, any public
like
waters in play. Yeah, if you can find something like that, you could have that all to yourself.
It's Flat Lake.
That thing's tiny.
Could you imagine you roll up there on tournament day and there's like 10 people there?
But that's what I'm saying. That's the risk. That is definitely what. Yep. So when you fish a creek in a tournament, that is like your big gamble. That's why I just told you guys I like it high and flooded, because if it's muddy, all the fish aren't going to get spooked and be caught and be seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you have a chance to like still win in a small body of water. But man, you're right, Jake. You're not going to win. You got to have backup plans, which you guys had one of those. You bounced around a few different places, which is pretty cool. That our trucks and vehicles and tires, we got Toyota and Toyo tires. Hey, you can't say Toyota without Toyo, right? So I've been waiting to throw that one in at some point. But anyway, it's cool. It's a full part of the format. You can just move and bounce around all these other lakes. And look at this. You can get back at this little beaver pond back here. There's a whole beaver house right there in the middle of that picture.
The We opted to go away from the tippy because we had such a tough time on it the first half day on Friday.
Mosquitoes,
so
dude.
we opted for a lake, a bigger lake, just to make sure that we could cover some water and try to find fish. We found a few on this lake, this like chain of lakes that were kind of connected. We spent about 4 hours there, but it was really tough, and it was still really blown out. We only found one area with really clear water, and all the fish we caught were pretty small, 11, 13-ish inches on all this. It was like, man, we're really struggling. So we went to Plan C, and we went down to, a pond,
Smaller,
a legit small body of water. And we ended up finding them super shallow on a frog. And that was it. That was literally the only answer over there.
That was the coolest thing, though. And it was a very small lake. And when we got there after bouncing from the other chain of lakes, there were 5 other kayaks already on the lake. And we're like, oh, here we go. And it was small. It was small. So we fished around kind of doing like the finesse stuff we had been doing all trip at that, what had been working with spinner baits, Ned rigs for the most part. So we're like doing that. That's not producing anything. We tried like 10 other lures. Nothing's happening. We're like, all right, what the heck? I finally flipped the Ned rig into a pocket by a bunch of slimy, mucky stuff in like a foot of water. Boom, catch a 13.5. I'm like, okay, that's a fish. Yay. But then all that muck, and Drew, we had talked about this the night before, and I was like, I'm going to throw a frog. And I made sure, Paul, that we brought those Booyah pad crashers. I was like, we're using these. I don't care. We're using them. So we brought them, and I throw on a black and blue, flip it into the muck, and that's when I caught on the frog. And then the second frog fish I caught was a 17.25, and it was my best fish of the whole trip. And I was like, hell yes, here we go. And then I caught a 16 after that. They were all in a foot of water in the same pocket, right, Paul? We were in like one area, like 40 by 40 little pocket.
A little RVR cruising around.
There you go.
I tried all the pads, nothing else. It was just this one spot.
You were throwing a trap right here, Paul.
I was, yeah. Yep.
Now listen, this is why I screenshotted this exact clip. Because see, when you're yo-yoing that trap on that rod that's so soft like that, like some sort of medium action, it looks like you're hooked up. So I got this clip for you. You can tell your sponsors. You can tell your sponsors, here I am, hooked up.
Got him. That's that casting Asagi.
If it's a medium, that to me a medium or medium heavy on that feels more like a medium.
Yep. Yeah, the Asagis are soft.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the heavy actions.
I love that thing. That jig rod.
It is a good rod.
It's a killer.
Like but just wait.
I know. I'm waiting patiently. Waiting patiently.
I'm excited.
These are some cool clips.
There were I was marking a ton of fish below me. And really it was only in one area that I marked any fish on that lake.
Yeah.
And I spent about a half an hour with 5 or 6 different techniques trying to just get one, not even knowing that they were bass.
That back pocket where the geese were, like just
right on. No, it was right in front of that, right under the power lines. And
dude, the power lines were
sizzling
so loud.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were sizzling. And
I was like, I don't think we should be here.
Yeah, the only moving bait that I caught a fish on the entire time was the sneaky underspin.
Spinner bait, man.
Everything else that I was able to catch on ended up being well, I guess I technically caught one on spinner bait for a bit. It was tough. It was a tough bite for me. Those are like, we were talking about like what are my best conditions. I mean, these conditions are like my worst. Like this is where I fished my definitely not my best. So the frog bite though, the 2 biggest fish I caught were back-to-back casts on a frog within 4 feet of each other.
Yep. And same here. That's exactly what I had happen. So yeah, it was interesting. And that's kind of, these conditions might be different from conditions we fish in other tournaments, but this is kind of like how most tournaments go for us. It's like no research, show up.
Yeah, no fish told.
We unfortunately just don't have time for it. I will say though,
you look good on the water.
Look at that, dude.
At least for Jeff and I will say like, it's easy to get frustrated. When the pressure's on and you're like, man, I really want to like do at least well, like not horribly.
Right.
And
you want to do averagely?
Yeah, I want to do averagely.
I want to at least hit average next time.
Especially you drive out there, you're hanging out with a bunch of sticks who are all catching fish. And you're like, man, I at least want to like have some fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, even after the first day, we got wrecked by the mosquitoes. It felt like every single mosquito in the United States hatched right there on that day.
It was so bad.
But yeah, I mean, we made it through all that. Didn't catch really any fish the first day. We kept the composure though. Kept smiling on the face and just stayed after it. And honestly, I had a lot of fun and definitely not my best performance by any stretch of anyone's imagination. But like I actually learned quite a bit. And I actually have taken some of the lessons in the last KS event we did in Pennsylvania. Just seeing people catch on like the last bait I would have tried. You know what I mean? And just watch, like a dude having a buzzbait locked in all day, right? And then catching a ton of fish and
shout out to Creek Crawler.
Absolutely,
who we're talking about.
Dude, don't let him gaslight you into that buzzbait bite thing. He took us.
I thought you were talking about the winner.
No,
but even
James, James won with the buzzbait all day.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just him, but like watching other, like seeing, and this was the same. I heard some people doing the exact same thing I did, and they were catching fish in a different part of the river. And Jeff and I were actually on the juice. Like when we were talking to the team that won at the end of the second day, I was like, man, I was really just trying to find slack water, not flooded water, an area of slack water in the river that didn't have this heavy flow. Because as much as it didn't feel like there was a lot of current, when we flipped the kayaks around, I mean, we're running really lightweight kayaks with not a lot of stuff, with an NK, 180 Pro on the back or an HT.
3-pound drag chain.
And just a really light drag chain. And, not much else on the kayak. I was doing maybe 3 miles an hour tops, maybe 2.5 upriver. Like 70% of my speed was gone. So it was really flowing. So I think we're just in a really high flow area. But yeah, everything I was doing, other people were trying the same things and just, some of them were having success because they were in the right spots. So, I guess all that to say, I feel like I learned a lot, and I learned a lot from the last one that I took into this one. And I think every time I go to another one of these, I'm going to take all that into the next one and probably just fish more topwater, really.
They probably give up and just throw a buzzbait anyways, whatever. Heck it. Probably just throw a Ned rig no matter what. I don't care. But yeah, like Paul, to that point, if I learned from this trip, what I would know is the moment we get to the water that we fished, I would just say we're going upstream another 30 minutes and let's see if it clears up. That's what I would do now.
Which is what we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 100%.
This Matt's fishing mission.
He's the one that submitted the clips earlier.
Yes, which were fantastic. Yeah. Paul and I loading up at the tip of canoe. It was a speed load. We were running around just swatting ourselves. And then there was a sheet of mosquitoes on the door.
Hold on.
It's only funny because we've all been there. It's only funny because hold on. Just like
so bad.
So Jeff was generous enough to take the truck from the
he's mad at me about this.
Hold on. No, this just sets the stage. So he's like, I'll go get the trailer.
Don't worry. I'll get it.
It's 20 minutes, right? There and back. 25 minutes.
15.
There were 22 billion fresh mosquitoes at the pullout, where I'm just out in God's creation.
Watching the kayaks like a good boy.
Getting destroyed, like pincushioned by these mosquitoes. DNR guy rolls up to check license. And I'm doing this. I got a coat on. I'm dancing. I'm
Macarena, dude.
I'm pacing.
DNR's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Guy rolls up, rolls down his window. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you don't see the mosquitoes, bro? Like, what? And then he's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna check license. Gets out. He goes, Jesus effing, what the effing crap? Like he's cussing because literally he had the all black SUV. You could see him backlit on the SUV. There were probably 5,000 mosquitoes. I mean, you could hear them, the constant from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them just right in this 1 foot area. He checked my license in 4 seconds. I don't think he saw it.
No, he didn't see it. It's Tommy Boy. It's Tommy. Have you ever seen the movie Tommy Boy?
Bees. Yeah, exactly.
Bees.
Just
everywhere. Just follow me. Follow my lead.
Yeah, dude.
Oh God, bees. And the cops just run away. And then,
dude, literally, he was gone. I don't think he saw my license more than a second, and he was out of there. He's like, April, see ya. Like.
But we had a house just as big, like 20 people. It was crazy up at the upper Mississippi.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the
That was
mosquitoes
worse.
got in so thick from the door. They were all just right there inside everywhere. And we got a vacuum cleaner and just started sucking them all out.
It was like a
insane. They were
1970s vacuum. I found it in the closet.
Oh, you're
and I'm
reeking.
like, all right, we're
So
just sucking these bad
extra
boys up.
yoked.
It's crazy.
I hope it was a Hoover. It had,
Dude, if I had a vacuum, if I was
attachment.
vacuuming up mosquitoes, they still would have been eating me while I was vacuuming them, and I would have filled up an entire shop vac, no problem. It was insane. It was wild. I tried to call my easy. I tried to call the kids to distract myself. So I'm calling home.
You fool!
Dude,
then
they
you can't
could not
swat your hands.
They didn't even believe me. They were like, no, because they couldn't see him on the camera. And I was like, oh, you think I'm slapping myself just for fun?
You're gonna zoom in on a mosquito. Look at him.
Unbelievable.
I was flying the drone trying to like focus, and I was in there. I can't use my hands to swat away. I'm just dancing, trying to get Scrivener because I was by that river. It was like,
oh
yeah,
dude, I
trees
put
everywhere. I
on.
almost crashed it.
I put the wetsuit on just to load up the kayaks because I was like, I am done with this. I have 6 versions of West Nile. I have God knows how many other like bloodborne diseases from these things.
All of them, at least.
Yeah.
Is there anything that really works on mosquitoes?
When it flooded like that, it gave them
smoke.
10 times the amount of surface area to spawn in.
Oh yeah, and where we pulled out. So, dude, the pullout ramp was completely flooded. Completely flooded. Like where you would back the trailer down. And a tree fell directly across the ramp. So when we got there, we had to pull the kayaks in 8 feet of water, standing on a log. We had to pull the Sholey and the RVR like over this log to get to the freaking ramp. And then that whole area was all flooded. When we drove the truck in, we went through probably 3.5 feet of water, Paul. Like it was
so we have the off-road Malone,
Mm-hmm.
which is hiked up like 18 inches or whatever. It was the bunks were like maybe 5 inches away from the water when we went through. My truck's tires at least halfway covered. They were fully washed.
We didn't try. We tried. But yeah, next time I would just go way upstream. That was my mistake. All right. Anyways, OG DeBurley, AAA hype man who has been a member for 61 months.
Holy moly.
Legend. I didn't miss you this time, buddy. What will it take to Paul's like, I clicked the button. Okay, guy, thank you. What will it take to get a AAA partay in Clarksville for the KS? Clarksville is that Broodstock this year? Broodstock?
Broodstock 3.
We're definitely going to Broodstock. We'll be there. Just over 3 hours for me. And more serious question, my circuit is having an afternoon night tourney. How does the prep change for setup, fishing areas, etc.?
He's talking about not during that event, just like right now, his local. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, just prep for an afternoon/night tourney versus a day tourney.
I don't think it changes a whole lot because then day tourneys you got that low light situation in the morning, and now you're just gonna hit it in the evening. But you will
get that night
usually longer,
yeah,
especially in the summer. You get more of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and that's kind of like the Friday afternoon tournament for KS. It's you get the afternoon for day 1, and then you get the morning bite for day 2 / mid-afternoon or midday bite the next day. So I mean
I like Topwater at night. I think it feels like it calls them up. They can hear it. They can hone in on it, So that's my tip. If you got vegetation, that's no bueno, but you can still use some sort of soft hollow body frog or even that Toad Runner Junior that's got that plopping tail, or some sort of ribbit toad or whatever makes a little bit more noise.
Toads.
Yeah, with buzz bait, but still it's too much vegetation. But if it's clear, you're looking at if it's clear, then you're like buzz bait, plopper style bait, stuff like that to really call them up. But you've always got chatter baits and spinner baits that put off a lot of good vibration. So that's what I would say.
The midnight special spinnerbait, the Strike King midnight special,
all black.
I've caught more night fish on that than any lure I've ever used in my life. Like I used to primarily night fish, like period. Like when I was growing up, that's what we did in the summer. And my first ever 5-pound largemouth was on one of those things.
Nice.
Tried and true.
I would say also make sure you got your Guardian Angel lights because they can be a spotlight. You can pull them on and off. You got your nav lights. So you're going to have those, obviously, if you're doing a night tournament. So prep for that.
You can blind the game warden who's asking for your license. Very versatile.
Yeah. And bring your Decadodge. You definitely want to throw at least one of those. You're going to have a great time. Just a crawler bait this big. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Watch out for those skeeters.
You got the that's not the Decadodge, but the homemade one. Right. There we go. Yeah, throw one of them suckers right there.
Holy moly.
That's like a $200 version.
That's what you need.
Who made that?
A person.
Hang on.
I forget.
This one's like a rat. This one's like a legit
to whoever
rat.
made that. It's a really
I'm gonna
cool
share
game.
Something here.
So to answer DeBurley though,
yeah.
Yes, let's do a partay. Get in this Airbnb, buddy.
That's the best night lure.
Let's
ever,
get one. Yeah, it is.
Oh, the Pikachu.
Heck yeah, bro.
It's the Iron Tail Pikachu. So the tail lights up.
The Iron Tail.
Fair enough.
Not the Thunderbolt. Not to be confused with Thunderbolt.
I'll bring those up in a second, those standings. But hit us up. We if we have a way we can get like a big Airbnb, we'll get one. So stay in touch.
Yeah.
Dude, Clarksville's got great fishing, but too like legitimately good fishing. Like really good in some areas.
To be fair, Drew tries to pick good areas, right? Like, there are no KSs that are going to be at a bad area.
Yeah, never been one with less than 90. Like, and that was a flooded Susquehanna, which would have been much more. So really, it's never been one with less than probably like mid 90s. And in my recap article, I did note that 96 3/4 beat Ohio's Great Midwestivus by just a half an inch. So it was kind of like a little
different color fish,
little jab in the wound there for the Ohio guys that didn't quite top of the Indiana guys. They beat them by a half inch too. So next year, it's your chance, guys, in the Great Midwestivus. Because Michigan has never won one yet. This is our third one next year. So maybe a Michigan angler could be you guys right here. You may not call you the aggressively average anymore. It might change.
Catch me on we were talking about like the perfect day. We were like probably 2 to 3 weeks off of what would have been for me the ultimate conditions. Because like if I can get any kind of moving bait bite, and when it's cold, dude,
the waters were already coming down.
Oh my god, that would be. I'm in it. I'm smelling victory at that point.
Well, if they haven't gotten any rain,
confidence goes a long way
right there. No, gotta have it. You can't win without it.
Yeah, I would love to have another event in Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we want to come back to Michigan for sure.
Dude, that Michigan event we had was legitimately like probably one of my top 5.
Dude, everybody was crushing it on the river. They were crushing it. And like even the guys that weren't even in the tournament were doing the bet. Shrenko was going out there. He was doing 100 fish a day.
Yeah, I was with him. We went and floated down the river.
We're like, dude, enter the tournament.
Well, I mean, we were in a jet boat.
Yeah, they were just in a jet boat
flying up river, which was illegal. Yeah, they were trying to cover the event. I guess that's good too.
They were taking all the dang fish.
I want to shout this guy out real quick. You guys keep talking about whatever, but just real quick, we did update the standings so everyone knows they're on the website. Go check them out. Chris Anderson from Ohio. See, Ohio got Indiana back. Now, Ohio guys are first and second. Michigan is in third, though. I'll say that. And Minnesota.
Okay.
So these are the points
Norman.
so far. So anyway,
and
then you can see. I think you click on team Dark Horse Tackles in the lead. It's only a couple teams have fished those two events. So
Ozark Bandits.
Ozark Bandits are the first team that only has one event under their belt. So your best 3 events is what equals your AOY scores. Doesn't even have to be broodstock. It doesn't even have to be just your best 3. But you do have to be at broodstock to receive the trophy, though. So if broodstock isn't one of your best 3, you still need to get there. But most likely you're fishing broodstock. If you're in the hunt, you're probably at broodstock. So you'll be on stage even if it doesn't end up as one of your best 3, and you still take the title. So somebody up there, I don't know if he's one of your fans that have been around for a while, but I wanted to shout him out. They said they just got in with some surgery. I don't know who that was, but they were like just happy to be out there, and they caught a bag. So they were just thrilled after all these surgeries. So JT Hickman was there. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah. I don't know who
that's Rob.
That's Rob.
So Rob Harrison. He's been a long-time listener. Rob. Great, awesome human being.
Great dude.
We got to hang out with him a little bit at each of the events there. Yeah. So
nice.
He's been through a lot.
Love seeing that, man. We all go through a lot. Jake and I, we don't talk about it. I mean, but dude, the reality is if I spun this camera around, you'd see just a tornado gone off in our house and black mold, and they're redoing the roof. They're redoing it. Kids have no routine. It's crazy. Everything's just trash. Pull up all the carpet, all the hardwoods, like trying to like manage a family and a life, like all of us here. I mean, it's impressive. So what you guys do to be able to put everything you've got going on in your life aside and come drive all that way, spend all that time and money, energy on something that we just kind of dreamed up. It's awesome. I just want to say thanks to you guys. So it means a lot.
Heck yeah. It was a great event. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great people there. So, definitely highly recommended. If you guys can make one in the future.
New River. Let's go.
New River Revival's the next one. Yep. Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
So
then the Juniato. So
Yep. So we got 2 great river events coming up. Then we got the Marionette. Marionette is the Wisconsin one?
Wisconsin. Yeah, it's the one right on the border. And
that one's going to be
awesome.
Yep. So still plenty of events left in the year. You got one this coming month. It's almost May already.
I was going to say,
that's right. It is. It's coming up quick here.
Yep.
You can throw whatever you want at that Wisconsin one. I promise you. If you want to throw a net rig,
I promise you. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna take that claim right there. And if I don't catch anything,
if you want to throw Iron Tail Pikachu,
if you
can throw Iron Tail Pikachu,
I'm gonna win on Iron Tail Pikachu. Deal. You got it.
The fish are dumb up there. Trust me.
They're pretty.
I think Jake and I were talking about this. I tend to agree. Especially northern Wisconsin is crazy. Especially when the water is 15 degrees colder than it is everywhere else. When you get up to northern Wisconsin, stupid. Fish are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. It is crazy.
This is what I was talking about with Paul. I had bug spray and we sprayed up.
Bug spray was not.
It did nothing.
Have you guys tried the?
We need.
I need a shower made of that.
I need 16 citronella candles.
I will put the
just
lotion
around my kayak
on the skin. Dude, it was nuts. Honestly,
it was really bad.
But the classy yacker has already booked his trip.
It's like the chrysanthemum stuff. It's like the stuff you put on your clothes. You spray on your clothes. It lasts 4 or 5 washes. But when the mosquitoes land on it, they die.
I would love to.
Love that. Is that a
it works great
I
for
can
ticks.
get?
That's why I do
mosquito murder suit. Can we just is it battery powered? That'd be great.
No, it's a chemical.
Ew.
Just buzzing, just shocking every mosquito that comes close to me. That'd be fantastic. I want.
You need to put those little portable bug zappers on each end of the kayak.
Now that's
an idea. Now we're talking, dude.
Yeah, now we're getting.
And then you're gonna get your lure caught up in there and electrocute yourself.
Nah, what's the worst gonna happen? I've
Braid
seen it.
Is not a conductor. Right. Come on, right?
Fair. Right. We're throwing lead core line. What? Sorry, I put the copper strand on, loser.
Ow.
Good luck. Ow. All right,
here we go.
So, here we go. What?
So one last thing. Oh, I had one last thing. And one of the comments over there.
Oh, the deer flies. Don't remind me of the deer flies.
There we go. The socks. First customer with the socks. KS socks.
Helped me place 21st in my first tournament.
There we go. Not too bad.
Legend.
That's right there. Right there, man.
But did he get the underwear? That's
why he probably didn't. Yeah, I didn't get the lucky underwear, but I just want to say that if you guys want to buy them, they're on the website. They're print to order. You guys can go check out the new merch. So some people forget we have that. So anyway,
lots of different
underwear might be out of stock. Might be out of stock.
Too popular.
We'll see. Somebody tried to buy them. They know they tried to buy them, and then they said that there's no more inventory of the underwear. So maybe they're going to get back in stock. We'll see.
We'll see.
Someone was trying to scoop up all the lucky underwear so that nobody else had them as a strategy. So if nobody else,
that's a great strat.
That is a pretty good strategy. You can't,
Oh, lucky underwear. They are probably out of stock. Bummer, dude.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
They took all the.
Meanwhile, he's like Dwight Schrute over there on eBay selling all the the Christmas stuff. He bought all this Christmas
if I didn't
toys,
win,
remember?
I'm still gonna win.
Yeah.
Here's the underwear. Yeah. 50 bucks. All right. Well, anyway, Jeff was wrapping it up, but no.
If you want all the luck, you gotta pay up for that. All right, so yes, wrapping up on a great event. The Great Midwestivus 2 was fantastic. We had a blast. all the craziness of the trip aside, it's always fun just to go on these trips and do these events. And we highly recommend that you guys take the time to do that as well. At the very least, try to get hooked up with one of your local kayak tournaments. There's a lot of online options. You don't have to go anywhere. You can fish your local waters, just kind of get used to it, or even just do what Paul and I do now. We just take our catch boards out with us and we just measure fish, and you just get your best 5 fish for the day. See how you measure up. It forces you to learn, become more efficient, and try new things. It's like what we talk about on the show all the time. So at the very least, you can do that. You can do local online tourneys, derbies, etc. But if you guys can make it to a KAS, get out of your comfort zone and go test out some new waters in a new state with cool people. It's totally worth it. Trust us. We've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll end on this, Mad Aquatics. Every tournament so far this year, we've let somebody loan kayaks out. They've asked us, say, do you have a kayak you can borrow? We can borrow. And every tournament so far, we've loaned some out, like 5 to the Florida State University bass fishing team at the first event. So, and then 1 or 2 at this other one. So if you need one, even though you don't have one yet, let us know. They know the team division, start slow.
Drew called me like days before the event. It was like, can I borrow a kayak? And I was like, man, we just constructed 2 kayaks. Those are the only 2 kayaks we have built right now. And I've been like working my butt off in the garage to get those 2 done. But if I had more built, maybe, we have trailers, maybe in
people
the future,
underestimate
how much bringing my extra one.
Rigging a kayak.
I saw you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rigging a kayak takes a long time.
Like you get fatigued. Like I just found out I was getting a new kayak here soon. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. But it's like, oh,
yay. Try doing like 8 a year.
Yeah, dude.
That's why I like.
I built 6 this year.
Yeah.
So it's horrible. And I'm finishing up the UMAX right now. I gotta still run my bow mount wiring for that.
You do get fast. I think I rigged. Between the doing 30% of the Shoaly and 40% of the RVR, you get to a point where you're like, wiring is gonna take me an hour. Okay, fine. Running tubing is gonna take me an hour. Okay, fine. Like you do get fast, but honestly, there's a curveball with every single kayak, every single one, every single time.
And there's always this moment where you just stare at the kayak and you go, "That's not gonna work."
I need to make something.
River float, creek float trips, or like even what John Dalton said. Sometimes just like, I just want to float the river. Just give me a paddle, a couple rods, and like there's something to that. And
100%.
I'll put this last comment up here too, though. Gas is too expensive to drive a tournament and come in last. I don't care how good the fellowship is. Well, that's not the kind of people we're trying to attract.
Ruben,
if that's really the way you feel that way,
bro,
then
now you know why it's
don't
only cool
come to
people
our
that
events,
are there.
People are trying to not have come to our events. If you don't think that's worth it, then what else is worth it more in life than the memories and the fellowship? And you win all kinds of free stuff. You get $100 gift bag just for coming and being.
You can win a kayak too.
There's so much. It's not
at every event.
Yeah, it's just like the people that's all. If they're only focused on the money and this ROI, like this. Do you consider your ROI on your local basketball league where you win a T-shirt and you paid $250 for 2 months to play in it? No, you're like I'm going to get as a T-shirt. I'm not going to win any money in this league. No, it's for fun, for fellowship, for exercise. That's if you look at it that way. Quite frankly. No offense, Ruben, but we don't really want those people at our tournaments. If you're just focused on just the money and all the ROI on that side of it, like the ROI is the fellowship and the fun. That's where it's about, man. Like so,
and the occasional gigantic fish.
Every once in a while, you do make some money, win some prizes, cash some checks. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the way I think about it, right? Like you could go to another state, try a new body of water, try and figure it out on like a vacation, but like that's all expenses anyways. Like you're spending all that money and you're by yourself or maybe a couple of buddies. But in this case, you have like 70 new friends that you can make and you can learn from them while you're there. So while I totally hear where you're coming from, money doesn't grow on trees.
We're sending you to the best. Yeah. We're sending you to the best locations in the country, like Upper Mississippi, the Susquehanna, like the Menominee River, and these lakes that are awesome too, and all these places. I mean, it's man.
I'll also say, and we'll just wrap on this as we've said that 10 times so far. But like if you hang out with these guys enough, some of the sticks on the water that don't take it like insanely seriously, they will give you spots. They will say, listen, Drew, if you hang out with Drew, he'll just eventually he'll just pull out his phone.
Especially if he's not fishing.
Well, not at KS, but not for my own.
fishing.
I can't do that there. But but for Bassmaster, it's true. I share stuff with people.
Yeah, I mean, if you just hang out with enough people, they'd be like, I don't know, go check this out, right? Like, like you might even some folks will go there without a partner and end up with a partner for the team tournament too. So then you can, maybe
Cole showed up to Florida with
there,
that one and ended up fishing with Eric Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could happen too. That'd be pretty cool. But all right, you guys, we are going to wrap it up for today.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. But you're right. The guys will all share. You learn, you get better. So,
yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. So, at any rate, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a blast. Thanks to Jake and to Drew for being with us. You guys should definitely make sure you're following these guys on all the channels. Obviously, follow Kayak Adventure Series. Go check out Iliak and on all of the platforms. Check out Drew on all the platforms as well. And we will be back again next week with our regularly scheduled program. And every other week here, we do a Kayak Adventure Series special. So you're not going to want to miss that. 7-inch jerk shad goes out. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Chaz, take us out.